Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 Introduction. Om Agyan Timrandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Unritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rup Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So continuing from Srimad Bhagavatam introduction, on hearing this statement from the Lord, the Mayavadi sannyasi asked the Lord, what was the harm in studying the Vedanta along with chanting the holy name? Prakashananda Saraswati knew well that Lord was formerly known as Nimai Pandita, a very learned scholar of Navadipa, and his posing as a great fool was certainly to some purpose. Hearing this inquiry by the sannyasi, the Lord smiled and said, my dear sir, if you do not mind, I will answer your inquiry. All the sannyasis there were very much pleased with the Lord for his honest dealings, and they unanimously replied that they would not be offended by whatever he replied. The Lord then spoke as follows. Vedanta Sutra consists of transcendental words or sounds uttered by the transcendental personality of Godhead. As such, in the Vedanta, there cannot be any human deficiencies like mistake, illusion, cheating, or inefficiency. The message of the Upanishads is expressed in the Vedanta Sutra, and what is said there directly is certainly glorified. Whatever interpretations have been given by Shankaracharya have no direct bearing on the sutra, and therefore such commentation spoils everything. The word Brahman indicates the greatest of all, which is full with transcendental opulences superior to all. Brahman is ultimately the personality of Godhead, and he is covered by indirect interpretations and established as impersonal. Everything that is in the spiritual world is full of transcendental bliss, including the form, body, place, and paraphernalia of the Lord, eternally cognizant and blissful. It is not the fault of the Acharya Shankara that he has so interpreted Vedanta, but if someone accepts it, then certainly he is doomed. Anyone who accepts the transcendental body of the personality of Godhead as something mundane certainly commits the greatest blasphemy. The Lord thus spoke to the sannyasis almost in the same way that he spoke to the Bhattacharya of Puri. And by forceful arguments, he nullified the Mayavada interpretations of the Vedant Sutra. All the sannyasis there claimed that the Lord was the personified Vedas and the personality of Godhead. All the sannyasis were converted to the cult of bhakti. All of them accepted the holy name of the Lord Shri Krishna and they dined together with the Lord in the midst of them. After this conversion of the sannyasis, the popularity of the Lord increased at Varanasi and thousands of people assembled to see the Lord in person. The Lord thus established the primary importance of Srimad Bhagavata Dharma and he defeated all other systems of spiritual realization. After that, everyone at Varanasi was overwhelmed with the transcendental Sankirtan movement. While the Lord was camping at Varanasi, Sanatan Goswami also arrived after retiring from office. He was formerly one of the state ministers in the government of Bengal. Then, under the regime of Nawab Hussain Shah, he had some difficulty in getting relief from state service, for the Nawab was reluctant to let him leave. Nonetheless, he came to Varanasi, and the Lord taught him the principles of devotional service. He taught him about the constitutional position of the living being, the cause of his bondage under material conditions, his eternal relation with personality of Godhead, the transcendental position of the supreme personality of Godhead, his expansions in different plenary portions of incarnations, his control of different parts of the universe, the nature of his transcendental abode, devotional activities, their different stages of development, the rules and regulations for achieving the gradual stages of spiritual perfection, the symptoms of different incarnations in different ages, and how to detect them with reference to the context of revealed scriptures. The law teachings to Sanatan Goswami form a big chapter in the text of Sri Chaitanya Sarita Amrita. And to explain the whole teachings in minute details will require a volume in itself. These are treated in detail in our book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. At Mathura, the Lord visited all the important places. Then he reached Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the family of a high caste Brahmana, and over and above that, as sannyasi, he was the preceptor for all the varnas and ashramas. But he used to accept meals from all classes of Vaishnavas. At Mathura, the Sanodaya Brahmanas are considered to be in the lower status of society. But The Lord accepted meals in the family of such a Brahmana also because his host happened to be a disciple of the Madhvendrapuri family. At Vrindavan, the Lord took bath in 24 important bathing places or ghatas. He traveled to all the 12 important vanas, forests. In these forests, all the cows and birds welcomed him as if he were their very old friend. The Lord also began to embrace all the trees of those forests, and by doing so, he felt the symptoms of transcendental ascetic. As, sometimes he felt unconscious, but he was made to regain consciousness by the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. The transcendental symptoms that were visible on the body of the Lord during his travel within the forest of Vrindavan were all unique and inexplicable and have just given a synopsis only. Some of the important places that were visited by the Lord in Vrindavana were Kamyavan, Adiswara, Pavan Sarovar, Khadiravana, Sisari, Khela Tirtha, Bhandiravana, Bhadravana, Shrivana, Lohavana, Mahavana, Gokula, Kalia Hrida, Daya Dasi Ditya, Keshi Tirtha, etc. When he saw the place where the Ras dance took place, he at once fell down in trance. As long as he remained at Vrindavan, he made his headquarters at Akrura Khata. From Vrindavan, his personal servitor Krishnadasa Vipra induced him to go back to Prayag to take bath during the Magha Mela. The Lord acceded to this proposal and they started for Prayag. On the way, they met with some Pathans, amongst whom there was a learned Molana. The Lord had some talks with the Molana and his companions. And the Lord convinced the Maulana that the Quran also there are descriptions of Bhagavad Dharma and Krishna. All the Pathans were converted to his cult of devotional service. When he returned to Prayag, Srila Rupa Goswami and his younger brother met him near Bindu Madhva temple. This time, the Lord was welcomed by the people of Prayag more respectfully. Vallabha Bhatta, who resided on the other bank of Prayag in the village of Adailya, was to receive him at his place, but while going there, the Lord jumped in the river Yamuna. With great difficulty, he was picked up in an unconscious state. Finally, he visited the headquarters of Vallabha Bhatta. The Vallabha Bhatta was one of his chief admirers, but later on he inaugurated his own party, the Vallabha Sampradaya, on the bank of the Dashavamedha Ghata at Prayaga for 10 days continually. The Lord instructed Rupa Goswami in the science of devotional service to the Lord. He taught the Goswami the divisions of the living creatures in the 8,400,000 species of life. Then he taught him about the human species. Out of them, he discussed the followers of the Vedic principles. Out of them, the fruitive workers. Out of them, the empiric philosophers. And out of them, the liberated souls. He said there are only a few who are actually pure devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami was the younger brother of Sanatana Goswami, and when he retired from service, he brought with him two boat fulls of gold coins. This means that he brought with him some hundred of thousands of rupees accumulated by the labor of his service. And before leaving home for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he divided the wealth as follows: 50% for the service of the Lord and his devotees, 25% for relatives, and 25% for his personal needs in case of emergency. In that way, he set an example for all householders. The Lord taught the Goswami about devotional service, comparing it to a creeper, and advised him to protect the bhakti creeper most carefully against the mad elephant offense against the pure devotees. In addition, the creeper has to be protected from the desires of sense enjoyment, monastic liberation, and perfection of the Hatha Yoga system. They are all detrimental on the path of devotional service. Similarly, violence against living beings and desire for worldly gains, worldly reception, and worldly fame are all detrimental to the progress of bhakti or Bhagavad Dharma. I think we are 6 a.m. now, so I think we can stop at this point. Vanchakalpratubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevcha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you, dear devotees. So we'll continue our chanting for another hour. Thank you. Hare Krishna.